massive transformation from last year to this year for the Pune team, and individually, two of the greatest cricketers now playing the game, and perhaps one of the leading public intellectuals to analyze the game, who's written lots on the game for several years now. So what brings about this transformation? I'll ask Steve about leadership, I'll ask Ben, playing together and then playing the Ashes, and Mr. Tharoor, when you analyze it from the start of the IPL to now, this is a brand that continues to be robust. So why don't you fire away the first question, and then we'll take it from there.
Well, as I was discussing with the two stars we have with us, I thought we might start by talking about their careers and then move on to the broader questions of the game. So there's been this extraordinary evolution. How did it happen? Let's face it, when you started off, you were okay. You were not seen as a great. You lost your place in the side. You seemed to go away and come back as somebody else. Tell us about that.
Yeah, look, I was very fortunate to get an opportunity to play for Australia, first of all, as a spin bowler. I guess we were sort of post-Shane Warne looking for the next spinner to play for Australia, and obviously now Nathan Lyon's stood up and taken that mantle for a while, but we went through a transition where we were trying to find a spinner, and I got an opportunity to play 2 tests as a spinner. And yeah, I was fortunate to get that opportunity. You're never going to knock back a baggy green, so it was a great opportunity. I always saw myself as more of a batsman, and I was just lucky to get an opportunity to start my career as a spin bowler. I probably never worked as hard on my spin in the nets, even when I was playing as the spinner. I was still in there batting for the majority of the time, so that probably let my spin chances down, particularly being a leg spinner. But I got an opportunity to play in the Ashes in 2010, 2011 at home as a batter when I probably wasn't ready to play. And I got sorted out pretty quickly by Jimmy Anderson and a few of those guys, and it gave me the opportunity to go back and see what I needed to do to be successful at the next level. And I sort of let my bowling slip and just concentrated on my batting, and probably one of the best decisions I've made, and since I've been back everything's gone pretty well. So yeah, it was that opportunity to play when I probably wasn't quite ready that stood out and gave me the chance to figure out what I needed to do to make it at the next level.
Shashi, before we get Ben into the conversation, I want to ask Steve, the amount of, you keep fidgeting while you bat. I've not seen anybody do that, and I've asked several people that, have you seen this kind of movement when somebody's batting? Was that always natural? Does that come naturally to you? Does that give you more confidence? What's the story?
I actually don't know that I'm doing it. I just do it. It's just, I guess it has become natural to me. So, yeah, I'm not really sure where it's come from, but, I think I touch the sort of same parts every ball, and it's become part of my routine.
Well, it's certainly working that way. Yeah.
It is, but in your case, it's not starting as a batsman or a bowler, because perhaps you're the only person who does both equally well.
When I first played for England, it was as a batsman. I was coming back from a pretty serious finger injury, which was 3 surgeries worth of getting it correct. So I got drafted in pretty much straight after I was back on the playing field, and with all the physios and doctors of just trying to get my finger back to bowling, so I wasn't actually physically able to bowl because I couldn't bend my finger because it was that bad. So that's the reason why I wasn't able to bowl when I first played for England. And as Steve said before, when he felt he wasn't probably quite ready to play for Australia, I felt the same way, because I hadn't played in 8 weeks and I wasn't being able to bowl. So it just sort of felt like I got rushed in. But, as you say, you're never going to turn down the opportunity to play for your country, and you take it as it comes. And then obviously you get the call up to go to Australia in the Ashes series, and we got pretty much battered that tour, didn't we? 5-0, didn't win a game. I think we were there for 3 months and we won 1 game, which was a warm-up game. So things couldn't really have started off any harder. But as my career's kicked on and everything like that, everything's just sort of falling into place, and I think I'm understanding myself more as a cricketer now with the more games that I've played.
And you come here, you win 3 Man of the Match awards and multiple other. Was there pressure? Can you talk about that turnaround when you came in, expectations and then delivery?
Yeah, there's always pressure on on you to perform, you know, regardless of money in the game, you know. Us as cricketers, we always judge ourselves by our performance, and you know that's where you take your most pride away from the game, is, you know, how you contribute towards your team. So that was the pressure that I put on myself, was making sure I came out here, gave a good example of me as a person and as a cricketer, and then hopefully put in some match-winning performances, which I've managed to do. So leaving here, that's how I would have judged myself after the 6 weeks I've spent here.
But here's a New Zealander playing for England. Do you at all feel that you could have been the hero of the New Zealand team? What makes you English? What makes you feel English?
Well, I moved to England when I was 12 with my mum and dad, through my dad's job, which was, he was a coach. So we moved across the world. So you know, once, you know, started school, club cricket, and then started playing junior levels, school stuff for Cumbria, then eventually for Durham. So once I'd sort of, you know, made the transition through all the school stuff, county stuff, and then into all the age group England stuff, that's where I was like, right, I want to play for England. I'd done all my schooling and made all my friends and pretty much made my life in England. So it was an easy decision to make, you know, to say that, no, I want to concentrate and try my best to get on the field and play for England.
Steve, coming to you, you know, 7th last year, huge decision to make you captain, replacing MS Dhoni. 1 out of 4 matches to start with. What was going through your mind? Because there was a lot of talk. Was it a correct call? And the whole India-Australia series and the DRS and all of that. What was Steve Smith going through? And then 8 out of 12, currently second, is a massive transformation.
Yeah, I was pretty relaxed through it all, to be honest with you. It's been an enjoyable year this year with RPS. Obviously, we've turned things around and played some really good cricket in our last 9 or 10 games. So, you know, we sit in a really good place at the moment, and you know, have a chance to end up in the top 2.
Before we go into detail about this year's IPL campaign, I just want to talk a little bit about yourselves as players, because obviously there's the issue of temperament. You're both amazing in terms of your talents, but there is a perception that you guys are a bit different when it comes to the way you have so far reacted to the challenges and opportunities of the game. You've been, by and large, cool and unflappable, despite the fidgeting. Ben, you had the famous episode of a disagreement with a locker in the dressing room, which took your wrist down for a while. And I hate to remind you of this, but your first England tour at under 19, you were sent home for disciplinary grounds. Is it something that you feel that the anger, the passion is difficult to control, that you're struggling to control? Do you feel that was just youthful indiscretions that are out of the way now and you don't expect to be in trouble by not being able to control your temper? How does it work? I mean, for the rest of us, it must be difficult to even imagine the kinds of pressures you guys face at the highest levels of the game. But how people react to it is also a reflection of who they are.
Yeah, I think, you know, once the passion that you feel can sometimes come out in the wrong way, and the locker incident was a case of that. You know, wanting to do well and always wanting to contribute is, when it doesn't go well over a sustained period like it did in West Indies, then, you know, emotions and everything can run high, and, you know, that was just an episode of stupidity, you know, immaturity, I guess. And, you know, if I look back on it and say I wish I'd never done it, it would probably be a lie, because I've learned from it, and, you know, learned that, you know, if you're going to have a fight with the locker's probably going to win 100% of the time. So,
Steve, continuing from this one, actually, I mean, if you take the India-Australia series, there were times when, whether, you know, sort of use of certain words which were captured on television, or your press conferences where you actually made the point that the Indian captain was wrong in alleging that, you know, that was a repeat offence that the Australians were doing. So you, while, you know, people can say, okay, you're not aggressive, you made the point. You actually sort of put your point of view across and never back down.
Yeah, as I said, you can make mistakes out on the field, and eventually you've got to learn from those mistakes as well, as Stokesy alluded to. You know, it's part and parcel of playing international cricket. You're going to have things come up here and there, so you have to try, and I guess that's something that I'm trying to work on, is making sure that, you know, the camera's always on me, so being a captain of your team, so you need to try and keep your cool as much as you can, and at times it can be difficult to do with things going on. So, you know, that's a part of playing the game and learning as well.
What's it like, Ben, playing cricket in India with an Indian team?
It's really enjoyable. It's a few more selfies than I'm used to back in England, but the whole experience has been great. The passion and the love that the Indians have for cricket is something that you never understand until you get here. You know, cricket's well supported in England, but as I say, it's a complete different level out here. It's a religion and it's a passion, and it's an amazing thing to be, you know, surround yourself with. The crowds, the IPL competition as a whole is just, you know, one of those things that, you know, we really wanted to play, and, you know, the 5-6 weeks I've spent here so far, it's really lived up to the expectation.
Have you made friends with some of the Indian players? Any language issues or anything like that? You get along on the same wavelength?
Yeah, no, really good. They've taught me a few words, more bad words than good, but you know, I've enjoyed it. There's a really good bunch here at Rising Pune, so I've enjoyed it.
Steve, yeah, sorry, just on the same question, if I may. You've done it longer, so tell us how you feel about this.
No, look, I love playing here in India. It's a fantastic place to play cricket. Very similar to Ben, obviously, the fans and support that you get from the Indian public at games or in hotel foyers. It's fantastic, you know. It's a great place to play, and you know, I've loved every moment of playing here in India in the IPL. It's a fantastic tournament to be involved in.
There are some of your colleagues there. In fact, Rahul's laughing, Jaydev's there, Ankit's there, Shardul's there. Talk about captaining these boys.
Yeah, absolutely. And no, look, this year's been fantastic. It's been great to see some young guys come in and do incredibly well straight away. I think Tripathi's been a real revelation for us. He's been incredibly consistent, and he's batted beautifully throughout, and he's complemented Jinx up the top beautifully. Washington bowling in the first 6 under pressure has been amazing. Jay bowling at the back end and bowling at the top as well. He's been outstanding.
I want to sort of get you back to one specific innings, that 100 that you got. You know, 3 for 10 or something, and then 4 for 40, chasing a big score, a fairly biggish score. You know, one individual gets 100 from that point of view, from that perspective, from that context, and winning the match for that team. Can you talk us through what goes through your mind? What were you thinking? How did you analyze situations? MS was at the other end. What talk goes on? And then finally finishing the match with cramps?
Yeah, obviously it wasn't a great start, but you know, when me and MS were batting together, we knew we needed to sort of form some kind of partnership, get some runs on the board, and then, you know, once it got to that point of the game, looking at how many runs we needed with how many overs you know, remained. So we tried to get the runs needed at the first half of the over, and then just tried to take it slowly at the last few balls remaining, and we did that for about 5 or 6 overs. You know, just sort of having the MS at the other end, who's been in situations like that countless times throughout his career, was a nerve calmer as well. But then obviously knowing that we had Dan coming in later on, who can hit the ball out of the park, you know, as good as anyone, was another thing that helped us, you know, towards getting that total.
And have you learnt more of Steve Smith now? Do you now know you have an in into Steve Smith's mind? Does it help you, this IPL experience, to bowl to Steve Smith when you bowl for England?
Good question.
No, I don't think, you know, we look at it like that. You put me on the spot, but no, I think, you know, we're playing in the same team together, and as we said, you know, once you get in the same team, you both want to achieve the same things, but then obviously when we come to play against each other, it's going to be the other end of it. You know, we're both going to be out there trying to win for our countries, but, you know, I haven't taken this time to study Steve and try and understand where his weaknesses are or how we're going to get him out.
I'm a little curious. How aware are you of your records? You know, cricket fans are always obsessed with your statistics. We can probably tell you scorecards that you've forgotten in your careers.
All the individual accolades and those kind of things can take care of themselves, but yeah, you just want to win whichever team you're playing for, really.
Exactly the same, you know. If, you know, look back on a career, well, I would like to look back on a career and people not look at my stats and sort of be talking about, you know, he won X amount of games by his performance on this day. So, you know, I'm not stats driven. I don't think Steve is. That's the thing, is winning is the most important thing to us.
How does it feel for you to captain MS Dhoni, who's the captain cool, who's part of your team and who was the captain earlier?
He's been fantastic for us. You know, he's a quality leader, and I know all the young Indian players look up to him an incredible amount, and you know, I've got such a big respect for him as well, as a player and as a leader. So no, it's been an enjoyable year, and yeah, MS has been fantastic.
Open house, very, very successful. Hopefully, Prasanna Rajan and Mr. Goenka will keep giving us more. Thanks for watching this on India Today.
It's a team that has been on the winning spree, but what are the coaches doing when they are too stressed or are planning the strategy of the next game ahead? To talk more on this, I have with me Jack, Callis and Katish. Callis, give me an idea on what is the next step forward for KKR, because of course the target is Final Four.
Yeah, we got one more game left against Mumbai, so we need a good performance. You know, the guys are obviously working hard behind the scenes to make sure they're well prepared, but it's also important that the guys get away and have a bit of time away from the game of cricket. It's about getting a balance.
Your tip for the team this time, what would be the strategy against Mumbai? They've also been a good team at this time.
Hopefully we'll score one more run than them, or we'll get the runs before the last ball's bowled. So that's the simplest tip. But look, Mumbai are a very good team, and we had a very good tussle with them in round 2 of the IPL. So hopefully we can make amends, and we learn a lot from that game. So hopefully we can come back strong in this last game.
Sunil has also been back in form after a lot of. What is your take on him this time?
Yeah, he's put in a lot of time, a lot of effort and work. Guys have worked hard with him behind the scenes, and it's often, you know, that type of work that people don't see that you know, makes the best players in the world. They put in time when other people, you know, don't see it. But it's nice to see that all the hard work has paid off. He's certainly come out and made a name for himself, even as an all-rounder. So, you know, hats off to him and the guys for putting in the hard work and coming back from what could be, you know, something which is difficult to deal with in one's career.
10 years of cricket, 10 years of IPL. Has it got monotonous, or how would you like to experiment on the game now?
No, it certainly hasn't got monotonous. I think we've seen from the crowds, the people that watch it, it's grown from strength to strength, and I have no doubt it's going to continue growing.
Is it more of entertainment, or is it hardcore cricket for you, IPL?
I think it's a mixture. I think there's certainly a lot of entertainment. I mean, 2 games ago, people wouldn't have thought that getting 100 runs in the power play was possible, and obviously Sunil and Chris Lynn broke the record, 105 runs in 6 overs. So the game constantly evolves. So it's certainly, you know, it's certainly challenging the players' skills to be able to adapt to how the game evolves, but then part of it also is for the crowds, and there's a lot of entertainers out there.
इस बार क्रिकेट मैचेस जो हो रहे हैं परिवार को अलाउ कर दिया गया है, जबकि इंटरनेशनल क्रिकेट में नहीं किया जाता है, तो कितना आसान हो जाता है अगर आप 50 दिन 100 दिन अपने परिवार के साथ रहते हैं?
तो बिल्कुल काफ़ी आसान होता है, क्योंकि फैमिली जब अराउंड होती है, साथ में जब फैमिली होती है तो काफ़ी अच्छा लगता है। और वैसे भी टीम जब हम लोग खेलते हैं तो हम लोग सारे लड़के एक साथ खेले हुए काफ़ी टाइम से, लेकिन जब फैमिली होती है, किड्स आपके साथ में होते हैं तो काफ़ी इंजॉय करते हैं उस चीज़ को।
अगर बात करें इस बार क्रिकेट की, मुंबई के खिलाफ मैच है, किस तरह की तैयारी है?
अभी देखिए, हम लोगों का लास्ट मैच है, होम मैच है, और सीज़न का भी लास्ट मैच है। हम लोग चाहेंगे कि हम लोग जीते, और यहाँ का जो फ़ैन है हम लोग को हमेशा से सपोर्ट किया है, और इस बार भी हम लोग चाहेंगे कि वो हमें इसी तरह सपोर्ट करते रहे।
आखिरी गिफ्ट के साथ साथ अगर हम बात करें क्रिकेट की, तो इस बार क्या स्ट्रेस ज़्यादा है कि परफॉर्म करना है, जीतना है, क्योंकि टॉप 4 में पहुँचना है?
नहीं, देखिए, जो भी कॉम्पिटिशन आप खेलते हो और जो भी कॉम्पिटिटिव टूर्नामेंट आप खेलते हो, तो हमेशा आप चाहते हो कि फर्स्ट 4 में आए या फर्स्ट 2 में आए या विनर रहे। लेकिन अभी जो लीग फेजेस है तो हमेशा, और जिस तरह के पॉइंट्स टेबल है और जिस तरह के रूल्स और रेगुलेशंस है, तो हम लोग यही चाहेंगे कि फर्स्ट 4 में हम लोग आए, और उसके बाद डिपेंड करता है हम लोग किस तरह की क्रिकेट खेलते हैं. फर्स्ट 2 में भी आ सकते हैं और फर्स्ट 4 में भी रह सकते हैं. तो हम लोग चाहेंगे कि ये मैच हम लोग अच्छे से जीते. बाकी दूसरे जो रिजल्ट होंगे उसके ऊपर डिसाइड भी होगा.
रिजल्ट की हम लोग बात करते हैं, बट एक सवाल हमेशा रह जाता है कि हर मैच एक नया खेल होता है. तो इस बार एक्सपेक्टेशंस ज़्यादा हैं. और आपका टीम में, केकेआर की टीम में फेवरेट प्लेयर कौन है?
नहीं, ऑब्वियसली देखिए 7 साल से हम लोग साथ में खेल रहे हैं, तो हर कोई एक दूसरे को अच्छे से जानता है और हर एक दूसरे को अच्छे से दोस्ती है. तो किसी एक का नाम नहीं लूँगा क्योंकि मेरे साथ कई लड़के 7 साल से खेल रहे हैं. तो मैं पूरी टीम को फेवरेट, मेरी जो भी कलीग्स हैं मैं उनको फेवरेट मानता हूँ क्योंकि 2 महीना हम लोग साथ में रहते हैं. और उसके बाद भी जब हम लोग IPL से जाते हैं तो डोमेस्टिक क्रिकेट में कहीं ना कहीं मिलना होता है और दोस्ती हमारी कंटिन्यू रहती है उस चीज़ से.
मुंबई के किसी प्लेयर के तरफ से आपको लगता है इसके रहने से दबाव रहेगा?
देखिए, कोई भी एक प्लेयर के होने से दबाव नहीं होता क्योंकि जब ग्राउंड पे 11 लड़के उतरते हैं क्रिकेट खेलने के लिए तो आपको 10 विकेट आउट करनी होती है. और जब आप बॉलिंग फेस करते हो तो आपको 6 बॉलर्स या जो भी बॉलर्स देते हैं उनको फेस करना होता है. तो कोई एक प्लेयर को वो नहीं मानते कि भाई एक प्लेयर बहुत ज़्यादा इम्पोर्टेंट रहेगा. पूरी टीम इम्पोर्टेंट है और हमें उसी तरह क्रिकेट खेलनी है.
Biggest tension or rather the biggest stress for the next match, which is going to be extremely crucial this time?
Of course it is a crucial game, but it's just another game. I mean, we can't see it as a high pressure game because we have won so many battles before as well. And we are very positive because we have been playing really good cricket, following our processes really well. The routines are going well, the guys are up for it, and I'm sure we will win it.
Which would be the player from Mumbai team which would give you the highest pressure when it comes on field?
I mean, I've always, since I started playing for my domestic team Mumbai, I've always seen Rohit Sharma. So he's the guy whom we'll look to attack, and I feel he's the main man for them since so many years. So I think so he'll be the threat.
Looking forward to the game, and of course understanding that IPL has been a certain format of games. You've played Ranji also and played other games also. What is the strategy difference between the two when it comes to you?
I feel the game is the same, but this is, I think, more intense than a domestic season because there you get time to think, to recover from any situations. But here you have to be spot on. You have to be really fast in this because you can't think. By the time I think you blink your eyes, the game is over. So you have to be very fast and do your preparations back room and come here and just enjoy.
And one thing that you do before every match that the world is yet to know?
I like to sleep because when I get up I'm all fresh. Rather than sitting thinking about the game, I like to sleep, take a power nap for an hour or two. Then I come out and be fresh and try and perform on the field.
You're talking about tournament, understanding that of course last 4 or the final 4 would be the target this time. What would be the strategy against Mumbai on Saturday?
I think in terms of strategy, I think we need to just put a good performance on the park. I think it's a must-win game for us to put some pressure on qualifying either 1 or 2. But yeah, hey, the team's been playing some very good cricket lately. But yeah, it's almost up to crunch time, and obviously these are the big matches coming up, so everyone's very excited.
Or sometimes, but understanding you've been in Kolkata and you were there with your parents also almost for a week. How did you enjoy the entire time?
Yeah, hey, Calcutta's one of my favourite spots in India. It's a very colourful part of the country. The stadium's absolutely unbelievable. I think everyone knows the history behind Eden Gardens. Yeah, so to get the opportunity to play out in front of 50,000-60,000 people, yeah, it's very exciting. So yeah, once again, there's still a lot of cricket left to be played in the tournament, so hopefully I get a few more opportunities.